Koprince, Managing Partner of Koprince Law LLC. Today I'm here to talk about an SBA proposal for large businesses to receive credit for lower tier subcontracts. This is good news for large prime contractors and small businesses who work at the second tier or lower in the subcontracting chain. What happened is, on October 7th, 2015, the SBA proposed a rule to enable large prime contractors to receive credit for small businesses performing work at any subcontracting tier. The proposed rule also requires large primes to assign a NAICS code and size standard to solicitations for subcontracts. Now, this second portion of the rule may come as a surprise to some large primes, many of whom do not ordinarily issue solicitations for their subcontracts. This proposed rule implements a portion of the National Defense Authorization Act of 2014. In that piece of legislation, Congress directed the SBA to allow a large business that has an individual subcontracting plan for a contract to receive credit toward its small business subcontracting goals for subcontract awards made to small businesses at any tier in the contracting chain. In the proposed rule, the SBA notes that under current law, a prime contractor generally receives credit toward its subcontracting goals for awards made only at the first tier level, but not for lower tier subcontracts. That will change under this proposed rule. The proposed rule will allow prime contractors operating again under individual subcontracting plans to claim credit for lower tier subcontract awards that are made to small businesses. Those same prime contractors can also take credit for lower tier subcontract awards made to the 4 socioeconomic subcategories of small businesses that are tracked in subcontracting plans. And those are small disadvantaged businesses, which include 8A companies, hub zones, service-disabled, veteran-owned small businesses, and women-owned small businesses. Now, many primes, large primes, take their subcontracting goals and plans very seriously, and they do everything possible to comply with the law. But, of course, there are some bad apples out there, and the SBA is concerned, and some small business advocates are concerned too, that large primes might try to game the system by counting the same dollars twice in multiple tiers, maybe more than twice. Now, the proposed rule prohibits this. It states that actual subcontracting dollars may be reported only once, and the double counting of those dollars is prohibited. The proposed rule also clarifies how small business status is to be determined at the subcontracting level to begin with. In this regard, many large prime contractors, and subcontractors too, mistakenly believe that the prime contract size standard and NAICS code flow down to subcontracts. Not so. Under current law, a large prime contractor already is responsible for assigning the appropriate NAICS code and size standard to its subcontracts. So when a small business receives a subcontract from a large prime, that subcontract should already have a NAICS code and size standard on that subcontract, and those should be based on the work that the subcontractor is performing, which may not necessarily be the same scope of work as under the prime contract. Now, the SBA's proposed rule goes a step farther and requires that this NAICS code and size standard be included in solicitations for subcontracts. This begs the question, of course, does the SBA intend to actually require large primes to issue formal solicitations for their subcontracts? In my experience, at least, many subcontracts are not awarded as the result of competitive solicitations. Assuming that the SBA doesn't mean to impose the burden on large primes to issue competitive solicitations for all of their subcontracts, how then should large primes and their subcontractors interpret the rule? For example, will a proposed subcontract that's given to a subcontractor be classified as a solicitation? Hopefully, the SBA will provide some clarification when it issues its final rule on this topic. And speaking of the final rule, the SBA is currently accepting comments on the proposed rule until December 7th, 2015. After that public comment period closes, the SBA will review those comments and issue a final rule, likely sometime next year. Well, there may be some issues to work out regarding the specifics. Allowing large primes to receive credit for lower tier subcontracting is a common sense idea. Hopefully, it will result in increased participation by small businesses and socioeconomic subcategories of small businesses at lower tiers in the subcontracting chain. Koprince Law will keep you updated on the progress of this important proposed rule.